This is the story about a mapping contest from 2003 for Counter-Strike 1.6 that was organised by a well-known Counter-Strike forum, CS Central, and a softcore porn website named Bikini Hangout. The idea was simple: go out and make a map based around the idea of the Bikini Hangout Mansion, which was basically a way to make Bikini Hangout seem as cool as Playboy with their real mansion. Many maps were made for this competition, but only one could be crowned the winner. What they would win, however, was not exactly what they expected. Welcome to CS Bikini, a Counter-Strike map made by Michael 3D Mike Visser. Let's be honest, if you're watching this, you're probably a guy, and my YouTube analytics seem to back that up. When you're a young guy, you're lonely and you like looking at girls, but instead of talking to girls, you could just boot up this map and try to rescue the supermodels that are being held hostage inside the Bikini Hangout Mansion. Obviously, any supermodel you save can't resist you once they see your sweet Counter-Strike skills. CS Bikini is set inside the Bikini Hangout Mansion, with the supermodels being held hostage inside. The CTs appear to have made their way to the mansion inside a big truck, while the Ts spawn out on the tennis court out the back. They must have been in the middle of a practice session or something when they heard the CTs arrive, because there's a ball machine that is set up and constantly firing balls. I guess when you've taken a bunch of supermodels hostage, you can't help but play with your balls. The mansion is filled with many awesome features, so it's no wonder the Ts wanted to take it over. For example, check out this pool. Anyone who lives in a hot area knows the importance of being able to just jump into a pool at any given moment. Next to the pool is a small sauna, and right outside that is the beautiful view of the beach below. Do be careful when swimming though, as it appears that there is a shark waiting for you, and he wants all of your money. But what about inside the mansion? Well, for starters, we have a big CRT TV with some anime playing, because the women that are being held hostage are clearly extremely boring. There's also a foosball table and 2 Street Fighter machines which are being enjoyed by some of the supermodels. Another big feature on the map that people seem to have loved was this supercar in the garage that is extremely shiny and appears to belong to 3D Mike himself. At least that is what the license plate says. Above the garage is a bedroom that appears to also belong to 3D Mike, or someone who just really likes looking at his website. Though I will say it seems like a very lonely kind of bedroom to have. It's big, it's empty, and it has no women in it. At least the view is nice. Upstairs you will find the master bedroom, with a note left for Mike on the mirror written in lipstick. And around the corner here is a balcony to keep an eye out for more supermodels who approach the mansion looking for a good time. In the basement is a cellar with some boxes and giant wine barrels. For some reason, there's also this explosive crate next to the wall here, which, if shot, will blast a rather large hole in the wall, which opens a path into the sewers. You can also shoot your way into the sewers if you fire at this wine barrel. But where does this sewer take you? Well, one path spits you out onto the beach. But if you keep going, you end up outside the mansion in a sewer entrance where the CTs have arrived. The map has a fantastic layout. It isn't too big, and it seems to fit the theme of the competition perfectly. It's no wonder why people have loved this map for such a long time. But what about the other maps in the competition? Surely they were all fantastic? Well, they certainly were maps. For example, take a look at CS Over East by Small Sumo. I can't show you much gameplay because this map constantly crashes for me. The layout is terrible, from a gameplay standpoint at least, but it is filled with some fun random things, like Leeloo Dallas, Lara Croft, and what kinda looks like Posh Spice dancing. Then, if you go to the corner of that room and shoot this part of the floor, you drop down and end up running around a corner, only to reveal a man taking a dump with a couple of cats looking at him. There's also this extremely large pool where 2 of the bikini hostages are hanging out next to a giant photo of Kirsten Dunst in a bikini on the wall for some reason. Needless to say, the map isn't very good, but it is fun. CS Bel Air by Azat1976 is a map set in a mansion in Bel Air, although I'm not so sure how many times Azat has been to Bel Air, as he seems to think that the mansions are by the ocean somehow. For reference, this is where Bel Air is on a map. This mansion is pretty big and contains a lot of awesome things like this bowling alley, this massive outdoor pool courtyard, a theatre room with a fish tank, and of course, no mansion is complete without a pool table room with 2 pool tables in it. The map itself is a bit claustrophobic, and the AI for the supermodel hostages aren't always smart enough to follow you without getting stuck in some of the tighter areas. But the map is definitely worth a play. Next up in the competition is Costa Brava by Dr. DK, and it is easily the second most recognizable map to come out of this competition. Costa Brava is set in Catalonia, northern Spain, and it is a beautiful little village type area with a church and a couple of small resort style hotel buildings. Even though a lot of these maps have a coastal feel, this one actually feels special. A couple of the supermodel hostages are hanging out by the main pool here, and one of them seems to have a crush on the man who textured the models. I can't blame her though. 3D artists are pretty awesome. The other 2 supermodel hostages are hanging out in the pool room with this guy, who is focusing really hard on lining his shot up and doesn't seem to notice anything going on around him. And speaking of the supermodels, this one seems to have a real fond connection to the infamous adult movie Debbie Does Dallas. Maybe she was Debbie. Other than these few places, there isn't a lot going on due to the fact that the island seems to be rather small, but as some of the other maps have shown, making a bigger map doesn't instantly translate to a better map if you aren't putting a lot of thought into all the little details. While there are many other maps that were entered into the competition, the last map that I want to talk about today is CS Libra by Bruder D. Libra is set in Cuba, which you can most easily tell by the fact that there are many murals of Che Guevara on the walls throughout the map. The mansion in this entry is large and grand. It has a casino downstairs, an outdoor waterfall that flows into the pool inside, and even the entry hall is as grand as they come. The owner of the mansion also has their very own speedboat docked in their very own private dock, but getting it out seems like it would be a little bit of a challenge. The supermodel hostages are hanging out back, probably taking in the breathtaking view around them. The map is a good example of making a small map feel big, but not empty. Every road and path seems to lead somewhere cool, even if those areas aren't the most important gameplay-wise. The map is good fun, especially when you have a lot of people running around, but you might have a hard time on the CT side if the Ts have more than 3 brain cells and can figure out where the choke points are to hold in the first place. When doing research into who was the winner of the competition, I couldn't find much in the way of definitive evidence, so I reached out to the legendary 3D Mike himself and asked him if he could remember much about the competition and who won. He informed me that he was officially crowned the winner of the competition, but it turned out to be a big scam and he never received his prize. It turns out the prize that was promised was a sweet PC from a company called Extreme Machines, which would have been worth around $3,000 US today when adjusted for inflation. Somewhere, somehow, the contest seemed to get forgotten about by the people over at Bikini Hangout, and many months later, in April 2004, a man called Dustin from Bikini Hangout reached out to 3D Mike via email and said this: "Hello there, Mike. This is Dustin from Bikini Hangout. My partner in crime Deuce and I are taking over control of the BH server. We are aware of your plight with the contest that our group and CSC promoted. Since then, we have taken control of this deal and we feel that you are the true winner of the contest. We appreciate all your hard work, and me and Deuce played your map for the first time today and it's great. CS Bikini is the most downloaded of all Bikini Hangout maps. That also contributes to our decision to crown you the winner. It's way past due. We are going to ask our sponsor PHXX to get you 1 year free Counter-Strike server to host all your CS maps. Call it whatever you want, 3D Mike's Paradise, or whatever you desire." I think it's fair to say that this was more than a letdown, not just to Mike, but to everyone involved. They had worked so hard with the promise of an awesome computer, but in the end was only offered a year of hosting. Many of the mappers had never worked on Minimaps before, if any at all, so this would have been more than useless for those. The real prize that was gained was closure. But what happened to Bikini Hangout, you may be asking yourself? By 2008, the Bikini Hangout website was killed. Then later in 2010, the domain name for Bikini Hangout was put up for sale, and it's still parked to this day. Thank you very much for watching. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe and crack the Liberty Bell if you want to see more videos in the future. Click the join button to join Kotex Kittens if you want to help support me financially, but most importantly, take care.